about his experiences in World War II.
Good morning. I want to thank you for being here today and listening to a tale that I have given several times. I've appeared before classrooms to talk about my experiences in World War II. That was a long time ago. But today, on February 28th, 2009, we do have some 26 million veterans still alive of the various wars that we have fought, and the oldest of all of them are from World War II. World War II had many heroes. I was not one of those who with a gun was a hero. My weapon was a typewriter, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But first, let me take you back to December 7th, 1941. In 1941, I was only 14 years old. My parents, my brother and myself, were visiting with an uncle and aunt in Mount Vernon, New York. We were listening to the radio. There was no television. And listening to the radio was the only thing my brother and I could do, because my mother and my aunt were doing cooking and my father and my uncle were busy talking politics. Suddenly, over the radio, came the announcement that the Japanese Air Force had attacked Pearl Harbor. My uncle and my father were shocked. Both of them were soldiers in World War I, and they knew the strength and the abilities of the American soldier. So they both declared to my brother and I, oh, this war will be over in 30 or 60 days. Our military will wipe them out. You know that didn't happen. In 1944, I had decided the war was still going on, and I was in an engineering school, but our neighbors were being killed in the military in Europe. So I volunteered enlistment. I wasn't ready to be drafted, but I was old enough to volunteer. So I volunteered and was put into the infantry, where I was trained in Florida for 3 months to be an intelligence scout. An intelligence scout sounds very smart. My mother was proud that I was in intelligence. But the fact of the matter is that an intelligence scout is a guy who goes behind the enemy lines to find out what is going on and report it, so the soldiers with the artillery and the attack forces would know where the enemy was. I was fortunate in that I never had to practice that skill because I had another skill. It was known that I could type. Make a long story short, I wound up in the Philippines fighting the Battle of Luzon. I was in a foxhole which I had dug for no more than 2 days when I got tapped on the shoulder and was asked by a major or colonel, I don't recall, if my name was Beck and if I could type. And I said, yes, come with me. We went a few hundred yards behind the foxhole to what was a tent with bullet holes in it. And I was told that I am the new company clerk. Since I can type, I can keep all the records. And I had about 2 hours of learning from somebody who really didn't know what the job was, because when I asked where was the previous company clerk, he got shot. It didn't look like a thrilling job. At the same time, it was somewhat behind that foxhole. I could go on for a long time telling you about the experiences there, but essentially my job was to keep tally of the roster of men that we had and the supplies that they had. It was also my job to know who did not return from battle. It was also my job to type the letters home. It was not an easy task for the officers who wrote those letters. I typed them. But after a while, they came to understand that I, too, could write the letters, and I did. I was writing the letters home and keeping the records of the company. And then in June of 1945, General MacArthur declared the war in the Philippines. He declared the war in the Philippines to be over because we had pretty much eliminated the Japanese, and everybody was quite happy, except for the fact that we still lost hundreds of men trying to clean up the Japanese who were in caves and didn't know the war was over for them.